Yo, I respectfully disagree podcast. Get everything adjusted here. Got a familiar voice back. Seems like we very I don't even know the word to use. It's every 6 months, once a year. I don't know
Yeah,
what to call it.
something like that. About six
Um,
months to a year, man.
got Dante with me today, man. What's going on?
I'm doing all right, man. How about you?
I can't complain. I can, but it ain't gonna do nothing
We don't get to complain.
at all. Not at all. So as I said, man, he's a familiar voice with the podcast, man. He's been rocking with me from day one. We've done several episodes together. Um, but you hit me up yesterday
Yep.
and you was like, I just want to sit down and chop it up.
Yeah.
I was like, what we talking about? He's like, I really don't know, man. Let's just sit down and talk. And I was like, you know what? I'm open to that. I'm cool. It's Friday evening. Ain't got too much to do. So I was like, let's do it. But then you sent me another message
hmm
and it hit home. And you was like, kind of want to talk about motivation,
Yeah.
motivational factors, in terms of just you have your own brand,
hmm
clothing line established. Um, and sometimes you hit that brick wall in terms of, man, do I want to keep doing this? Like, what is it that motivates you and pushes you? So, before we even dive into that directly, what brought you to this mode? Like, you want to sit down and talk about it? Let get it off your chest. Let's hear it.
Yeah. I think just previous conversations that you and I had, um, and I think I was listening to another podcast, some other people I know,
Mm,
and I was like, man, Adrian really, um, you've been like, I feel like you used to be rapid fire, like you'll have about three a week. Then it was like, all right, now he's starting to slow down. He might have one. I know you did one. Was it last week, 2 weeks ago?
yep.
Uh, but before that, I feel like you've had some gaps, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
well, and I know me and you have had conversations um, about that, about you know how you feel about it, feedback, all of that type of stuff. So it was like, all right, let me holler at him. And I know, like I said, we've had other conversations about just motivation in general with business and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, well, I can go sit down with. I can. All I got to do is say, hey, let's pod. And
And the mic is
yeah,
open.
you ain't. I don't think you're gonna be like, nah, I don't want to. So for
Right.
me, it's all right. If I can help you try to get back to that space where you're doing it consistently again, or and what you consider consistent can change over time. It don't have to be three a week. It might be, you know what, my new consistent is now I'm gonna do it twice a month. I'm gonna do it once a week. So for me, it was like, all right, let me help him uh try to get back there. So that's why initially I was like, we ain't really gotta have a script. It's like, all right, we just talk about whatever. We can talk about sports, whatever, music, whatever you want to do. And I was like, or we can actually talk about what both of us are kind of going through right now, and that's the lack of motivation for whatever the reasons are.
Right. No, I definitely appreciate it, and I think it's dope that you actually noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing with me has been like it originally started out when I first started this podcast. The very first episode was about AAU sports,
Mm-hmm.
and I said that I'm a big sports junkie,
Yeah.
and my vision was the podcast is going to be all sports.
Yeah.
But then that's when a few female friends of mine were like, well, I don't really keep up with sports. I want to support, I want to listen, but a lot of the stuff that y'all talk about, I'm not familiar with. I don't know none of the names and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, you know what? I'll open it up and be more diverse. Talk about, different little topics, current events, whatever's going on
Mm-hmm.
in, the social media world, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start mixing it up, and hopefully that brings listeners to engage in conversation and different things like that. And for the most part, early on, I saw the traction that it was gaining, uh, subscribers. This is well before the YouTube thing, because hell, I was into it for almost a year before I went the YouTube route, and I'm kicking myself because I wish I had done it beforehand. I should have done YouTube all at the same time and let it grow simultaneously. Whereas it's like, okay, I'm sitting here now, I'm doing the YouTube thing. In the beginning, same thing. The views was there. And then when you start seeing it just dwindle down, and it's like, damn, I thought I was talking about things that people wanted to hear.
Yeah.
So then it gets discouraging because it's like, well, shit, my passion is sports, basketball.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy doing, but I conformed to what I thought other people wanted. So then I got into that funk because it's like, shit, now I don't know what I want. And then you just hit that brick wall, and it's like, man, it's disappointing when you're. Sometimes I feel like I'm on here begging.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, y'all let me know in the comments, y'all this, y'all that, and that's why I started rocking with TikTok more, and making little clips and stuff on there because of the engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's me arguing, going back and forth with a bunch of random people, the engagement is there versus other social media sites and the YouTube page. And I was just like, you know what, man, maybe I need to take a break from it.
It's tough. I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with taking a break. And I mean, and not saying you should, but sometimes there's nothing wrong with quitting.
Yeah.
But I think you do have a passion for, well, I ain't gonna say I think. You just said it. You have a passion for it. I think now is, I mean, with everything, with anything that you do, there's always going to be a point or multiple points where you hit a wall and it's like, all right, what do I do now? Do I want to keep going or do I want to stop? And if I keep going, do I keep going the same way that I was going, or do I pivot to something else and try to change the format, change the formula? So for you, I think ain't nothing wrong with taking a break, reassessing what you want to do, how you want to do it. I think for you, and we've had this conversation before, you in a tough spot because, like you said, what you set out for this to be, you changed it hoping to gain a broader audience.
Yeah.
Which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I could also see it the other side of it and say, nah, you should have kept it what you wanted it to be and just let it grow that way. Like, and the people who enjoy what you talking about or what you do, they gonna come.
Right.
It might take a little bit longer. And you fight, but even with that, with it being just about sports, you fighting against so much other stuff because now every athlete got a podcast.
And I love it. And that's why, that is inspiring in its own self, because I sit here and listen to them all day long.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, I don't want to sit down and regurgitate a lot of the same conversation. So it's like,
so
what do you do?
Absolutely. And why I say it's tough for you is because you doing a podcast by yourself. So now it's okay, do I respect this person's takes enough to want to listen to a podcast by himself? Because you're not carried by your guest. Like, it's not like, oh, every single time you sit down, you got a guest on here. Nah, sometimes it's just you. So now you have to do it in a way where people want to hear your take. Is it entertaining enough for me to listen to it?
Right.
When it's just him. And
honestly, even with that, towards the end of last year, me, Eric, and Avery was sitting down brainstorming about doing one with us three. Talking about food and different things like that, just to make it entertaining. Because we always, when they do Burger Week and Pizza Week, we always linking up and doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I already got the extra mics and all. So a lot of these ideas and things have been in place. But even another aspect of it is like, I done invested so much financially into this.
Yeah.
And to know that I'm right there on the cusp of being able to monetize it
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, bro, I am stuck in that 700 range,
Yeah.
and you got to get 1,000 to start
Yeah.
being able to do
So
advertisement and things like that.
right. So I think, but to that point, and I don't think that you want to quit. I think you just hit that wall like anybody who's doing something creative does at time. Like, and like I said, it ain't just one time. It should keep happening. I mean, hell, I've had established for almost 9 years now.
You know what? It has
Yeah,
been that
almost
long.
since 2016. So, and I couldn't tell you how many times I hit that wall. Like, I probably hit that wall every year, honestly. Where it's like, man, what am I gonna do? How I want to do this? Do I want to keep going? Uh, so I mean, I think in anything creative, that's normal. It's just how you proceed and how you deal with that is the big thing. And sometimes you got to figure out, okay, why, what factors are leading to me getting to this point now? Like, what led to me getting burnt out, or what led to me feeling like, I don't know right now. Um, and that's different for everybody depending on what you're doing.
Right. Real quick, see if that camera is on for me. Do you see a picture in the back? Or is it a black screen? Turn the camera on and then turn it off. Push the power button. It should say on and off. Red. I apologize. Just touch it. On my Facebook Live, it's black, so I don't know if it's something wrong with Facebook or what. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We got the audio. Seems like every time you come over here, man, we got some kind of technical difficulty, man. What is going on?
Hey, man, that just means I'm not the guest you need to have.
No, it ain't, because I'm enjoying this conversation. I hate that we was in, deep conversation and then we kind of sidebar. But like I said, my live is acting a fool. And but I done bought and done and supported and shouted out and this and that. And it's like, I ain't never once seen you share mine. I ain't never once seen you be like, hey, can I get a shirt? Can I get a this? Can I get a that? And hell, half of this is from family.
Yeah.
And it's like, you see the little cliche comments and stuff all the time. Your biggest supporters is gonna be strangers and things like that. But it's like, it's so much truth to that.
For sure. I mean, again, like I said, I've owned established since 2016. But I've been around established years before that, like since its inception in 2011. So, I mean, I've seen that firsthand. So it wasn't, for me, it wasn't something that I was like, oh, I can't believe this. I think I thought, for me, I don't know why I thought it would be different for me. Like, I thought, oh man, people always say, like, your people close to you might not support you, your family, friends, whatever. Like, I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna happen to me.
Right.
Like,
right.
And it happened. Even with me seeing it up close with like my friends who owned established before, like watching him telling me the same thing, like, man, like, yeah, like such and such, man, like they don't mess with me for this and it because of this, because they feel like I'm doing what they were supposed to do or whatever the reason is. Like, it happens. I think you just gotta, if it's something that you passionate about, man, you just gotta push through, because I mean, the people who I was always told, by focusing on the people who don't support you or who don't show up for you, you taking away from the people that actually do show up and support you. Like, give that energy to them.
Right.
Put that into the products that you make, put that into the product that you're putting out. Like, so that those people who do support you have a reason to keep coming back. Like, because those are the people who are supporting you, those are the ones who's going to tell somebody about it.
Exactly.
Rather than the person who I could make something. I could make a shirt or hoodie or whatever for somebody who I'm like, man, who that I feel like should support me. I could make something just like I seen them wearing yesterday. And they still might not buy it because for whatever reason in their mind, they decided, nah, I might think Dante made the dopest shit in the world. I ain't gonna tell him that, and I ain't gonna tell nobody else.
Exactly.
So I'm doing a disservice to the people who actually do support me and to myself by focusing on that. Now, that ain't to say I don't notice. That ain't to say it don't bother me at times. Just like I know it bothers you because it's like, damn, like I've supported you 100 times. I just need you to support me once.
Once.
Yeah, and you sometimes you waiting on moments that never come. And it is, like I said, it's heartbreaking, man, because people tell you you can support somebody 100 times and then they like, yeah, man, I'm gonna check you out, I'm gonna do it. And then they don't. And sometimes maybe it's because they feel like it's you competition to them. Even if y'all not doing the same thing.
Right.
It's like, well, if I support him, if I do this, if I share this, that's gonna take away from me. How?
It's enough out here for everybody,
yeah.
man.
Well, or it ain't. It's not even that it's enough for everybody. Some people feel like if they start getting to it, now I'm not the man no more. Or now we even. At first, it's well, yeah, I mean he's doing that, but I'm still up here and he's down here. So, and they like that power, so to say, or to be able to be bigger than you.
Yeah.
It's like, why does that even matter?
And it shouldn't. And that's why I've always told people, anybody that has called and asked, what programs do you use? How do you set this up? How do you do it? I've never hesitated. Gave them everything. Told them what to do, all of it. And that's just me thinking in my head, we can all figure this out.
Yeah.
Shout out to Grip. He had his podcast. He hadn't done any episodes in a while.
Yeah.
But his focus was music and shining the spotlight on people from back down that way. And that was his lane.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mario, my therapist, made me do this podcast. Yep. He has a lot of dope conversations. He's legit a doctor.
Yeah.
So that's his lane. Shout out to Clyde and the 2 podcasts and stuff that he has.
Yeah.
He's a Colts fan. So his is like we all can figure out an avenue and brainstorm, what motivates you. What do you like talking about? What do you this and that? But like you said, some people are going to view it as a competition or I got more viewers than him. I got more this and that.
There's been people who, like when the shop was open or even now, people hit me, hey man, do you know where I can get this or how I do this? And there was a few people pull up to Established, like, hey man, can I pick your brain? Can I do it? I'm like, all right, cool. I'll tell you. Some people I'll tell more stuff than others, but there's nobody where I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna have no conversation with you. I can't help you out. But of course, because of the relationship, there's more that I'm willing to share with some people than others. But but there's people that'll pull up. I'll tell them, man, look, here's where you can get this. Here's where you can get these products. Here's where you can get, what I'm saying, get this screen print done, get this, embroidery done. Like, I'll give you this information. Like, I'm not, because it doesn't hurt me for you to have it, because I'm still gonna do whatever I'm doing. And this is people who never supported any, like, you ain't bought anything Established, ain't bought nothing from the store, bought nothing from me, like, ain't shared a post, yet you want me to help you start your brand. Tell you everything I know how to do it.
Facts. And it makes it so hard because I don't know if you recall when I first started as well, I tried to round up as many people as I could that I know had a business or had something that they were doing.
Yeah.
And I was trying to do interview style, like share it with people. What do you do? What is this? What is that?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in my mind, it's like, okay, for people that know me that don't know you, I'm shining the light.
Yeah.
And for people that know you but don't know me, it's vice versa. So we're helping each other. And it got to the point to where it was several people that I reached out to and was like, hey man, let's sit down and do a pod. Let's talk about this
Yeah.
and shine a light on what you got going on. And I feel like they BS me around. Oh yeah, we'll do this and that. I'll follow up with people like, hey man, what's going on? Then don't hear nothing back. So that's when I started shifting more towards, well, I'll just turn the mic on and talk myself.
Yeah.
Because again, I thought if I had somebody sitting across from me, of course it'll be more entertaining because it'll be a different perspective
Absolutely.
other than just mine.
Yeah.
But like I said, the fact that I don't monetize off of it and I ain't able to just say, here, I'll pay you for your time.
Yeah.
That throws a wrench into it as well, because now it's like, okay, damn, I got to pay you to come sit down. I got to offer you some kind of incentive to sit down and figure it out. I'm like, I'm not that type of person where if it ever does take off and go where it needs to go, then I ain't going to turn around and like, hey, now that I'm good, I'm going to make sure everybody that helped me get to this point is straight.
Yeah.
But it's like the mental aspect of it, it's like, damn, like every time you had something going on, I tried to be visible and help in whatever way that I can.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see that I got something going on, and okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll take a mental note of that.
And that's all you can do is take a mental note of it and deal with it accordingly. Because a lot of those people, at some point, they're going to come back and say, hey, I need you to do this, or can you help me with this? It's like, all right, I'll help you with that, but it's going to cost you now. Or you can just be like, nah, I don't really have the time.
Hey, that's an option
Because that's what they said to you.
Right.
Nah, I ain't really got time. Or, well, they gave you the runaround or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, support, man. Support's tricky.
I had to learn that the hard way, man.
Support is tricky, man.
I had to learn it.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's been times where with me, like, even with that support or whatever you want to call it, like, I'll make something that I think, man, it's the best thing I ever made. Put it out, and I'll sell 2 of them. Then I'll make somewhere it's like, and you know what, and I try not to do, like, which is why I be taking breaks, because I feel like I'm at a point where it's like establish isn't there for the money. It's something I genuinely like to do, something I genuinely care about. So for me, I feel like I have the luxury of, I can drop when I'm inspired or when it's something I really like. But there have been a few times where it's like, all right, I did something where I'm like, it ain't, I'm not crazy about it, but I'm gonna put it out so I can say I dropped, which I rarely ever do. I try not to do that, but I have done it before. Where I'm like, all right, I just got to put something out just to say, and that'll be the thing where it's like, damn, people hit me like, oh, man, you gonna restock this? You gonna restock? Like, that's what y'all went crazy for? Like, how? All right. So,
sidebar, you used a word that just stuck out for me. You said inspired. And
yeah,
it's going along with what you're saying. And it's like just me trying to do hoodies. And like you said, it's not even about money. It's just me trying to put something out there, because I know for a fact everywhere I go, people have read it. I like that.
Yeah.
We just went to San Antonio a couple of weeks ago, and people were stopping me, asking me about my hoodie. But it's like, after a while, you can only make so many hoodies. Like, I got a closet full of hoodies, and they just got different little whatever. So in terms of inspiration and having the creative mind to do different things, like, I'm looking at your sweatshirt now, and it's like, where do you get the inspiration from? Where do you just sit down and say, you know what, I want to try this? And like you said, something that you was like, damn, this right here is going to be it. And it may not do what you want it to do, but then something that you're just like, let me put something out here. and it flies. Like, how do you create? How do you sit? Like, what goes through your mind when you're putting something together?
Uh, man, that's the. I think right now for me, that's probably the question I have to figure out the answer to, um, because like I said, I haven't felt inspired in a while. Um, so it's tough because, and I think for a lot of different reasons. I think one being because I was actually just having this conversation with my wife. One reason being experience or experiences are really the best inspiration. Um, and shoot, for the last almost 5 years, for me at least, there's not a lot of experiences to have because of COVID, working at home.
Yeah.
So I'm not out as much, and not like, and when I say that, I don't mean like out clubs or partying, just outside in general. Uh, so not not doing a lot outside takes away from what I'm seeing
Yeah.
as far as what I can see that inspire. Because sometimes it could be the littlest things. Um, I might be, I might take my son to the park or be outside playing, and he might lay down he might like be playing and lay in the grass, and just I'll look at him and be like, the colors of the grass and the color of what he's wearing. It's like, oh, that's a color scheme right there that can
That's
go
dope.
that can go with something. Or you know what I'm saying? Just seeing like some flowers or something like that, and it's like, damn, I could do something with that color right there. And just figuring out where to go from there, depending on what season it is, what type,
Mhm.
what what uh what article of clothing I want to make with it. Uh, so just stuff like that. I mean, and then for me right now, it's really just figuring out where that creative space is. I think, um, because like I said, since 2020, I've been working at home, which which is a gift and a curse. Uh,
Man.
because now everything is done in the same space as far as work, as far as trying to create. So it's trying to train my mind that even though I'm in the same exact place, I'm not supposed to be doing the same thing.
Mhm.
As far as my mind thinking, oh, well, you when you in this room, when you in your office, you're supposed to be doing work for your job instead of trying to create for established. So that that's probably the challenge I got to figure out now of how to get in that creative space, and it's a struggle, man. I just being honest. I haven't been able, like, I'll sit down, I'll just start uh, make a few pieces for just for myself, just to see, all right, how do I feel about this? Just trying to get back into that space, and I might have it for a day, and then the next day it's like, nah, I don't feel it at all.
Mhm. Look, I got a small taste of that. Like I said, the whole purpose of me trying to do t-shirts and stuff
Mm-hmm.
was just from a marketing
Yeah.
aspect of it. It had nothing to do with being able to sit down and create fashion
Mm-hmm.
for the seasons and things
Yeah.
like that. But it was like, okay, winter came last year. I was like, you know what? I think it would be dope to do some beanies or whatever.
Yeah.
So I went and bought a whole bunch of them. Went to Lids, paid to have them all individually stitched and
Yeah.
all of that. And then I'm sitting here like I'm adding up all this cost. And then when I'm posting it, it's like a few people bought them, and then I was just stuck with them.
Yeah.
And then a few people was like, "Man, you should do workout gear." And I was like, "Bro, I'm not even finna go down
Yeah.
that avenue at all."
Yeah.
So then I attempted to do shorts. And shout out to Lavelle. He bought some. I'm actually waiting on him to pick up a hoodie that he asked for.
Yeah.
But it was like, even with that, it's like, okay, you run the risk kind of like what you were saying. It's like, okay, I have this vision, I have this idea. I'm gonna go buy this stuff, get it all printed up, get it all done, and then when it doesn't meet the expectations, now you stuck with it. And I'm like, that's a loss in its own self.
Yeah.
So I was like, to know that you've been doing this for quite some time and the peaks and valleys of it all, I was like, I don't even want to know what that feels like.
I wish I didn't, but I mean, sometimes you learn from it. Sometimes you scratch your head like, I don't know how I could have did this differently.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like, yeah, I shouldn't have did this. And sometimes when you say I shouldn't have did this, it's kind of like what you just said when somebody was like, oh man, you should make this. It's like, why would I listen to you? But you do it. And it's like, you kick yourself like, because you like, I can't blame them for saying that. I blame myself for listening.
Right. So I said it's tough, and like I said, you said inspire, and that's kind of going along with motivation and the stuff that we're sitting here discussing. That's why I was just like, overall, it goes hand in hand in my opinion. You got to figure out what's going to motivate you, what inspires you to keep doing it. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. It's like, as much basketball and stuff that I consume, I very easily could fire this mic up every night and recap and talk about things. Because the crazy thing about it is, like, I'll just take the Lakers, and we ain't going down that road. We done heard about the Lakers enough, but I'm saying this because they're West Coast. So I'm up at midnight. I'm up at 1 o'clock just so I can watch those games. Well, guess what? Most of the world is still asleep. Yeah. Because they got to get up and go to work the next day. Yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, if I fire up this mic, talk about what I just watched before your ESPN cycles and stuff come around, then it won't sound like I'm copying Stephen A. Smith. Because a lot of the things that they say, I'm sitting here thinking it in my mind, or I may have posted it online before I went to bed and engage in conversation that way on my social media. But I'm like, I'll literally sit here and watch Stephen A. Smith or listen to Gilbert Arenas and them, and they will have the same thought process that I have. It's just where, since I didn't go live the night that I'm watching it, I allowed them to come in and share their thoughts. So now when I do turn it on, it's going to sound like I'm copying them. Right. And it pisses me off so bad.
But that's why you got to do it. Like, because for me, I've been in the same boat where it's like, man, I thought about making this, I thought about making that. And then I'll see somebody and I'll be like, damn, I thought about doing that already. Like, do it. Yeah. So that you can't say, oh, man, well, they beat me to it. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, and sometimes, somebody will. Because I saw somebody say before this, like, no thought's original. It's just that somebody executed it before you.
I like that. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, which, I mean, for what I do, what a lot of other people do, as far as like any product that exists, there's always going to be somebody that's like, damn, I thought about that before. Mm-hmm. So for you, it's like you watch the same game as they do. Right. You know basketball really well.
I see.
So you see, you see the good, you see the bad, like, and you're able to assess it and analyze it. It's just, did you say it out loud before they did?
And that's always the case. Yeah. Because, the elephant in the room right now is this big ugly label in terms of nobody's watching the NBA. And I'm going to go on and push the button. I disagree. I don't think it's the fact that nobody's watching the NBA. It's people are not sitting down watching it on TV. You have so many different ways to watch it now. How do you track it all? I could be in my car or on the airplane. We was watching the college playoffs on the plane. Yeah. Texas and Iowa State.
Ohio State?
No. Before that, they went to overtime. Iowa State, what? Not Iowa State. Arizona
Arizona
State.
State. Yeah.
I'm thinking about Arizona State.
Yeah.
Like we're in the air. I'm
Mhm.
watching it on the plane. So if you're only measuring TV views and things like that,
Right.
it may not capture all of it. And now with so many different streaming services and stuff, like you can watch the game on multiple things. So I don't necessarily agree that viewership is down. Is it a good brand of basketball? No.
Right. Yeah, I think that's more of where the conversation should be is what is the quality of the product, not if people are watching, because people are watching. I don't think it's as bad as they try to make us believe, but I do think viewership is probably down. I do think a lot of people just watch highlights.
That too.
Uh,
Short attention span.
yeah, but that's just the product of society now.
Yeah.
So
But it's like, I've been listening to Kevin Garnett a lot.
Mhm.
And at one point, KG did have a old school perspective and approach to how he viewed the game when he had his show on TNT and stuff like that.
yeah,
But now that him and Paul Pierce have their podcast and things that they got going on, I see him turning that corner and he's
showing
acknowledging
love.
what we see. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I would be frustrated if somebody told me, hey, man, you need to be more like your brother. Play ball like your brother. We miss when Kevin played ball. I'm like, but I'm not Kevin.
Yeah.
Why do you want me to be something that you've already seen?
Mhm.
I want to be me.
Yeah,
I want somebody to view me in the same light that you view him.
right.
And I feel like it ain't even just about sports, it's everything. Music, movies, all of it. Like we're stuck in why didn't you do it like this person done it?
Because they already did it like that.
It's crazy, man.
So why would I?
So bringing it back to the fashion and the motivation and things like that, it's
And
just
that's
like
and that right there is actually something that I wanted to touch on too. Like as far as inspiration goes, is it's a fine line for me because I'll look at other brands. Like I know several other people who have clothing lines too, and then some national brands, international brands that I like that I respect. And there's a fine line between being inspired by them and copying them.
facts.
So it's like, oh, okay, they did this. I liked it. How do I do something similar without it being a direct rip of what they did?
Yeah,
I mean, that happens a lot. I mean,
it does.
we've all seen stuff from one brand that looks just like something we've seen from somebody else. Um,
You a big sneaker person, bro, and it's like
yeah,
so many people rip off the Jordan 1. And I'm like,
yeah,
how do you feel like that's being creative? Like you literally use the mold of a shoe that you know is popular.
yeah.
Did you add a little twist to it? Yeah, cool.
You
But
changed
it's
the
like
logo.
it's the same shoe,
Yeah,
bro.
you changed the logo. Um, that's I don't know. I don't I don't get it. Um, I don't I don't know, man. I
Right. That's a whole
yeah,
rabbit hole and,
I don't know,
without
man.
trying to single out people and talk
Yeah.
bad about it. And with me and you've had conversations on this podcast before in
Mhm.
terms of just fashion and stuff like that. So that's why I tip my cap to you just in terms of just trying to be creative, come up with different ideas. And you said that, since COVID, we have been in the house.
Yeah.
And if it's somebody that likes to go out, nightlife, see what different people are wearing, see what the vibes
Mhm.
are, and then come home and use your creative juices to figure out a way to create something. I feel like that in its own self is hard.
Yeah.
I don't go out. So oftentimes I'm that, man, I'm just gonna throw on some jeans and a shirt. But then when you
Yeah.
get outside, you see, oh man, everybody's got the jean jackets and stuff
Yeah.
now. Everybody kind of like, damn, I'm out of time. I'm the old guy.
Right.
I was like, don't let the gray hairs fool you, man. But it's like
Yeah.
I'm out of touch in that scene in terms of just fashion. So for somebody that has a clothing line, you have to keep in tune
Mhm.
with what's going on in the world
Yeah.
and what the
I mean,
fashion trends and things are, and figure out.
yes and no, because yeah, you do like I try to make things that are timeless. That if I put this in my closet and pull it back out in 5 years, nobody's gonna look at me like, "Why you got that on? Or why you pulled that out of your closet from back there?" It's like, nah, that's still cool now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like, I mean, probably one of the best to ever do it, Ralph Lauren. If I pull a polo shirt out that I bought in college today, it's still
Yeah.
it's still good. Like,
Look, I'm gonna give you your props, bro, because don't correct me if I'm wrong. The rugby style
mm-hmm.
with the navy.
The gray one with the yeah.
Every time I put that on and I pull my flints out, I always get compliments. Always. And I wear that faithfully.
I think I did the rugbies in 21.
And I'm telling it's
21, I think.
hanging up in the closet
So
right now.
so
If I'm
here's
going somewhere, I'm pulling it out.
so here's the funny thing about those shirts. I had those for if it was 21, maybe it was 22. I think it was 21. If I did those in 2021, I had those shirts not knowing what to do with them
Mm-hmm.
since like 2015 or 16.
Oh wow.
And I just sat on them
Oh
because
wow.
I was like, I don't know what to do, what to do to these.
Well, I definitely get compliments,
And
dude. I don't want them to concerts and
yeah,
different
no,
places
I
me and
love
her
them.
go to,
I love them,
and it
and I did, and they just and they simple.
and that's what I was going to say. I was like, that's me. Like
Yeah,
I'm literally just put on some jeans, put on a shirt, and as long as my shoes match, in
Yeah.
my mind, I'm good to go.
yeah.
Keep it simple, going out the door.
But I think, and so I think that's probably another part of where my struggle comes in is I always try to do. I like simplicity, like you said. You like I have on a sweatshirt. It's just got one little. It's got the logo, one word on it. And it's like, all right, how much can I do that's still that simple? Um, but and that makes people still want to buy it.
Right.
So I always say I want to make functional fly stuff to where if I want to throw this on every day, I can, and somebody who's really paying attention will notice, but it's not loud enough to where it's like
Mm-hmm.
you immediately, oh, he had that on yesterday.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
so
it's a lot of dope stuff, man. There's some stuff that I still hadn't even put on yet.
yeah,
The cream with the love.
yeah, yeah.
I haven't wore that yet.
Yeah,
The crazy thing is, I bought those Soulfly 13s.
mm-hmm.
It's got the cream and stuff.
The
And
baby blue.
in my mind, I was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh man, that's gonna go perfect.
Yeah,
But I've never gone anywhere that would call for me to put that on.
yeah,
I've had them Soulflies on one time. I think those came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, bro, like I have so much stuff I haven't even put on.
yeah.
But like
I
you
understand.
said, in terms of timeless, I know that when I do put it on,
It ain't gonna look outdated.
and I'm gonna get compliments on
Yeah.
it. So I
That's-
got you, man.
That's the goal, man.
I
To
got
make
you.
timeless pieces. And like I said, and some of it is probably just me being a perfectionist, I guess. Uh, Sometimes it's like just make it, just put it out, because there's stuff that don't make it to the site.
Another sidebar. You keep throwing out these terms. How much does being a perfectionist play in terms of this burnout or mental roadblock that we've been talking about for the most part?
A lot. I'm sure it plays a big part. Like I said, for me, I think there's a lot of factors. And something I was going to say earlier was I think once something you love becomes a business, especially if you do it by yourself, it becomes a headache because there's parts of it that you're not gonna want to do as far as the business parts of it goes.
Mhm.
If it's just the piece that you love, absolutely. I'll do that all day long. But now once it becomes a business, it's like, all right, I might not want to do the marketing piece of it. I'll do the
Yeah,
creative part, but as far as
yeah,
how to market it, or now once it's, and especially once it's a business, now it's, even if you're not doing it for the money, you still have to be concerned with making money, because if
yeah.
you're not, at some point you're gonna lose some.
And honestly,
And how long do you want to go to keep losing money? Now, if you break it even, all right, cool. Like,
and that's the roadblock
but once
that
it's
I'm
like,
at.
all right, well, I've invested this much into it, but here's my return. It's like, all right, now that's, once you start seeing that, it's like,
That's
the love
exactly
starts to disappear because your mind is, all right, I can't, my mind can't focus so much on this part of it because I got to make it a legit profitable business.
mhm.
And that's where it helps to have somebody else. So for me, um, not having somebody, because for me, a lot of my closest friends, they not into it the way that I am. Like, I ain't gonna say they not into the clothing design, the fashion, the way that I am. So I might I might show them something and they like, nah, I like it. It's like, all right, but can I improve it? And I'm not gonna get the same constructive criticism of somebody who does the same thing as me every day.
Perfect. Pause.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you because I feel like I know the answer, but then I feel like everybody's gonna say that when it comes to constructive criticism, it's such a touchy subject because if you ask for somebody's opinion, you would hope that somebody's being honest.
Yeah.
Don't BS me. If I'm putting my creative mind into something, if you don't like it, tell me why and how you see me improving it or whatever. But then you run the risk of some people are just going to say, "Oh, I like it," and deep down they may not.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so hard. So my question is, do you really want the constructive criticism, or is that a fear in the back of your mind that may alter your approach to whatever it is that you're creating?
So yes, I do, and that's just me personally. I do, but I'm also very particular about who I ask for it from, because sometimes, like I said, just because that person's your good friend doesn't mean they know what the hell they talking about in relation
Okay.
to what you doing.
Okay.
So there's some of my friends there's even if I think you will or won't like it, there's no real reason for me to ask you about it during the creative process,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not really gonna get anything back that I can use for improvement. And sometimes you do, like
Yeah.
from a person who you think, man, they, why would I ask them? And they might tell you, might give you a gem where it's like, oh, damn, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
So, but then there's other people where who, like I said, I know several people do who do the same thing that I do, and because of our relationships, not because there's an issue, but I guess because of I may not consider them to be as close to me, or I might feel like, man, if I bother, I don't even want to bother them because I don't want to be a burden to somebody else. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to. They busy. I ain't gonna bother them with that. Like, so having certain conversations just don't happen sometimes.
Yeah, and honestly, man, that's what makes it hard. And shout out to my cousin Charles, man. He's down in Atlanta,
Hmm.
loves music. I've said that on here several times,
Yeah.
and he does beats and stuff. So
Yep.
he's always sending me beats and stuff that he's at home creating and things like that. And it's like, okay, he values my opinion enough to even ask.
Yeah.
And then it's like sometimes when I'm giving my feedback, I'm like, damn, like, am I messing up the creative flow or something
Hmm.
that he thinks is a masterpiece? And if I come back with,
Yeah.
you need to change this, this, and this, and this, and then that's like you're saying, it's like I'm gonna listen to your feedback, but then I'm gonna
And
evaluate where it's coming from.
yeah, I
If
think
if you're not passionate about music or have an ear for music in the ins and outs, then you may not hear it the way that I
right.
intended
Yeah.
it to be heard.
My
Whereas somebody who loves music might.
my uncle told me years ago. My uncle he talks a lot, but there's a lot to if you listening to him talk, there's a lot you can take from it. But he told me, and he know he talk a lot because of what he told me. He said, anything I tell you, you use it like buffalo fish. You take out the pieces that you can use. And I think when you looking for feedback, because you know with buffalo fish, it's got the bones in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't eat the bones. You're just taking out that meat that you need, leave the bones there. So when a person's giving you criticism, feedback, advice, take out the pieces that you need or that you can actually use.
Hey, shout out to bro dropping his wisdom on us tonight, man.
So
I've never heard that one
yeah,
either.
man. When he told me that, and that's like he told me this when I was 20 years old, maybe, and that stuck with me since then. Uh, because you can get inspiration, you can get a gem, you can get something good from anybody. You just got to know which parts of it apply to you.
Right. I like it. That's dope, man. That's dope. But that's why I was just like, sometimes I say, hey, let me know your thoughts in the comments and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I done had some people say you don't know what the hell you talking about. I can tell you don't know sports. And it's like, as bad as I be wanting to react, it's like, it comes with the territory.
Yeah, yeah.
You just gotta learn to
yeah,
take it.
and that, and you know me, man. I don't really be too active on the comments and all of that stuff because I'm like, I don't, I don't know you,
Right.
so I'm not even. I probably won't engage with you because if we talking about sports and somebody I don't know jumps in, it's like I don't know your sports knowledge, so I don't even know. Like, and you telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. Why would I go back and forth with you? Because you heard my takes. I ain't heard anything you have to say. I don't know how much basketball you watch or whatever. So like,
Yeah,
why would I engage with that?
bro. It's
So
hard.
yeah, no, I
It's hard.
I believe you.
Like,
Like I've known you for a long time. I know your personality. Uh, I know you will talk to a troll. Sometimes you are the troll.
you know what? You know what? I'm pushing the button again. Damn it!
I disagree.
It comes off that way, and I will. Well, you know what? I mean, I guess technically that does make it a troll, but it's like I'm being honest when I say some of the things that I'm saying.
But who said being a troll is lying?
All right.
Like there can be truth in it.
All
But
right.
it's still trolling at times.
All right.
It comes with it. But I mean, but my thing for you, for what you do and what you trying to do, sometimes you actually have to be a troll.
I'll give you an example, and we ain't gonna go down that road. We've been on here for about an hour.
Yeah.
Just 2 weeks ago, I think I commented on Famous Los. He was talking about Parson Chandler's comments about KD being better than Kobe.
Okay.
So they're already flaming him for his take. But then people in the comments was like, Kobe's number 2 behind Mike. And I'm like, bro, it's unfortunate that we lost Kobe early. But I'm like, people did not view him in that light prior to him passing. And you would have thought I set the world on fire. As many messages and things that I've gotten across social media, you don't know nothing about
Yeah.
basketball. I can tell you a casual. You are this, you are that. Kobe this kind. I'm just like,
Well, that's because people don't like anybody to disagree with them.
it's
Like
wild.
that's really at the end of the day, that's all it is.
But to some, they may have thought I was trolling, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm being honest.
I-
I'm being honest, bro.
I mean, I want people to. It's just we. This is about to take us to a whole nother place, but I just want people to stop making lists. Like, man, just like what you like.
That's what it boils down
Like
to,
what you
bro.
like. What you like. Why do we keep talking about this stuff?
That's
Like,
exactly what
if
it
you
boils
like
down
it, why
to.
does it matter what somebody else thinks?
And I feel like now, and still keeping it in terms of what the overall message is
But-
tonight.
But I think that goes back to when you was talking about support and all of this. If people, why does it matter if somebody else, like, if I like your podcast, I don't care if somebody else does.
That's true, too.
If I like the hoodies you make, I don't. Somebody else doesn't have to tell me,
Mhm.
man, he makes some nice hoodies. No, I know it. I like it. I buy it.
Yeah. And shout out to
So
those
you
that,
don't
that
need-
do listen on a regular. I
Yeah.
do have people that listen to every episode, give me feedback, and reach out to me directly. I think the message that I'm talking about is the bigger picture. When I upload a video on YouTube and then I go and check it a week later and it's like maybe 15 people done watched it.
Yeah.
There's no interaction. There's no comments.
Yeah.
That's the part that I'm talking about. Not
Right.
the people that reach out to me via text message or phone
Yeah.
call.
But it's normal. Like, I get why you apologize, why you know, but I think it's normal for you to feel that way. Like, anybody who's been in your position, anybody who's creating something, I don't care who you are, you've thought about, man, the lack of support or this part, and it might you might be the best person doing what you're doing, but I guarantee you, there's somebody who you feel like, man, that person didn't support me.
Mhm.
So it's normal for that. It's normal to feel that way,
Yeah.
especially when you trying to get to another level, because you know, man, if I had the support of X, Y, and Z, I'll get there.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out how to get there without it.
And that's the key. And after this, we'll get ready to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I'll post something stupid on social media, Facebook, and by the end of the night, we 50 or 60 comments deep. Something that I just a thought, and we're going back and forth. People typing out paragraphs. But then I'll upload an episode, something that I'm passionate about. Y'all go check it out. Nothing. And it does mess with you mentally sometimes. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, like some stuff that I don't even care about. I'm just here
So-
going back to what you said, I guess, basically trolling.
Yeah,
And this
But-
is what gets the engagement.
I think the problem, the issue there is not that they don't care about what you're passionate about or they don't want to support it. I think that goes to what you said earlier about the short attention span. You know how quick I can read a status and then comment, as opposed to me sitting down and watching a podcast or listening to a podcast that's an hour long
Right,
and having to pay attention that whole time.
right.
Most people, I don't know when it happened, but their attention span is 5 minutes.
Yeah. TikTok.
Yeah,
hell,
yeah, like you said, like you said, and you said it already. It was like, that's why I started messing with TikTok, because I get the quick engagement. That
Yeah,
attention spans, man. Like,
exactly.
adults have the attention spans of children now.
That is a fact. And like I told you a few weeks ago, and I'm getting ready to get that in motion. People's podcast that you sent me, I followed them
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Mhm.
And in terms of visuals and setup, I think that's important as well. Like, if you want people to watch, you have to give them something to watch,
Yeah.
something that's going to keep their attention.
Yeah.
And my issue has been the editing software.
Mm-hmm.
I've been reluctant to pay for it. And
Yeah.
I've been using the programs and stuff that's been free. And now a lot of outputs and stuff is in 4K and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have a 4K camera, but the software that I use,
Yeah.
you got to pay for the 4K visuals.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, if I go on and add this to the list of monthly subscriptions and things that I got to pay for,
Yeah.
then long term, I may get to 1,000
Yeah.
because now people may want to sit down and actually look. It's like, okay, I got all the sports memorabilia and all this
Yeah.
and that. It's like, in my mind, this is the perfect setup.
Yeah.
Everything that I got going on down there is the setup, but how
Yeah.
can I put this visual together with the editing and be more creative that way? I think that's one of the components that is missing. But how much more do I have to invest in myself
Yeah.
to pull it all out? And I think that's
Well,
what we're gonna leave with. Like,
you never stop though.
there you go.
You have to keep investing in yourself. Like,
And that's the mindset that I have to
Man.
develop.
no, me too. Me too. Because there's things that I need that I know I should be doing, and I haven't, or I haven't done them fully.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you don't. I mean, it's no number or stopping point for investing in yourself. Like having, because this is for you. This is still a business. So having a business is constantly reinvesting in that business, whether it be money into it, skills for you to grow the business, for you to learn new things, for you to take it to something else. Yeah, you're gonna keep investing in that.
You know what? That's perfect. I'm telling you, man, like, ladies and gentlemen, no notes, no pre-conversation, no nothing. Like, this is what I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I tell people that I have this conversation with my wife all the time. I'm like, to know, and I guess a lot of people do not know it. It's not rehearsed.
Mhm.
There's no notes. All these episodes, bro, we just sitting down, chopping it up, having a genuine conversation.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I am passionate about, because I do look at a lot of podcasts and stuff, and I do feel like people are playing characters.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, no disrespect to those people, but I'm like, I don't want to stoop to that just to try to get some clicks and views. Do I want clicks and views? Of course I do, but I'm not going to play a character to
Yeah,
get it.
I mean, it's about integrity, man. And for some people, money is more important than integrity and character. And I was about to say, I don't think. I know that's not you.
Nah.
So I know the person you are when the camera's rolling is the same person you are when it's off. You know, I respect it. And that's gonna work for you eventually. I don't think you should, man, I'm gonna start doing this, this, and this just to make sure I get some clicks. Nah, because that ain't you. And people, well, I won't even say people will notice. Some people will, some people won't. Some people won't care. Some people don't mind you being a character for money, because most people would do it too.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's how you, again, I go back to integrity. I don't think you're not a person that lacks integrity, so you gonna be
Nah.
authentic in whatever you doing.
I say, anybody that truly knows me, bro, I hate the concept of money. So it's like,
Mhm.
money is not my motivation. And, you know,
Yeah.
hell, we've even had that conversation in terms of
That-
sports and NILs and things like that. And it's like,
Yeah, we've had that conversation in terms of what we both do. Like, money, I'm not motivated by money, which is why I can go 6 months without releasing anything, because I'm not doing it just for money. Like,
right.
I'd be lying if I wasn't doing it for money at all, like, then I'd give stuff away.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's like, okay, I'm losing money. But you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I get it. Trust me, I get it.
do it for the passion of it, for the love of it. And
Or even
just
in-
money, and money just happens to be a benefit of it sometimes.
Yeah.
But doing things for money, man.
It's crazy,
Because-
bro.
Because if you do anything for money, then that means you can be bought.
Exactly.
So what's the number where you like, oh, that's enough, I don't want no more.
And that's the thing. We're in this crazy space right now with content creators, and people are just turning the camera on and doing silly stuff just to get clicks and views. And that's how you know it's simply for the money. Like, you're willing to record yourself doing anything, like you're saying, and it's like, nah, I ain't hit that level yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, times might get hard, and you might see me out here doing something stupid. But
Yeah,
it's like,
man.
nah,
I
ain't
hope
there.
not, man.
Man.
I hope not. So we got to make sure, man. Y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. We got to make sure Adrian don't start doing TikTok dances and skits.
Right.
Man. I mean, unless you're doing them with your kids, that's cool.
Right.
Dude, man, your kids can have you looking crazy if they want you to, man. But
Man.
other than that, let's not make Adrian get out of character, man, for y'all to subscribe and view his stuff, man.
Not at all. So real quick, man, we've been talking about all of this. Do you have anything in the chamber that's getting ready to come up, or any concepts and things in mind?
I mean, there's always bullets in the chamber. The question, I guess the better question is, am I gonna pull the trigger? And we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see that. I mean, that's the best answer I can give you right now.
You know I'm on board, man.
Yeah. No.
Look, I'm gonna give you credit for this. This ain't your hat, but the hat that you, the brown one with the black bill.
Yeah.
I've never in my life. What do you call these? This one right here is for golf.
Just
But I'm
just
like,
snap back to me.
I've always just wore a fitted flat bill.
I got you with the
Never had, and man, that hat is so comfortable. Mm-hmm. And even with that, it was like, I was getting compliments wearing the hat. And I was like, man, this ain't actually bad. I was like, nice little fit. It's comfortable. I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to start buying these. So shout out to you again, bro.
Man, thank you.
Like, again, I'm not gaslighting you just because you're sitting here in front of me, bro. Like, I've always told people, I'd rather spend money with people that I know than to go to the mall and spend $150 on a similar style shirt. I'm like, nah, why would I do that when I can bring it in and it's just as fashionable? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, nah, bro. So keep coming with the stuff, man. I'm behind you 100%.
Thank you.
And like he said, man, y'all be sure to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. In the comment section, let me know what motivates you. Like, what is the driving force? And I don't think we even answered that question.
I don't think we know right now. I think that's why we're in the position that we're in, because we're trying to figure that out. Like, how do we get into that creative space? Because maybe what worked before doesn't work anymore. So it's like, all right, we got to constantly rediscover what it is to motivate us, how we get creative. So, yeah, I don't know that we can answer that question right now.
All right.
So that's what we both got to figure out.
You're right.
Hopefully sooner than later, so we can come back and say, man, we figured it out.
Most definitely, because shout out to Avery, Eric, and my guy Jay. We're supposed to go to the indoor virtual golf Sunday, and we was actually talking about clipping up the mics and bring the camera and do an episode that way. So that's a new dynamic, something different.
Do it.
So
do it.
It's definitely there, man. Like I said, definitely appreciate you pulling up, man. Tell the fam I said hello. Today is January the 31st, last day of January. So
finally,
we got 11 months to figure out motivational factors, inspiration, and let 2025 be prosperous, man. That's it. We out.
Ass toasted, no competition. Amnesia coasting. I feel so high, I feel so live. My body's in the twine. Amnesia coasting. I feel so live, and I know why. That I can't deny. Amnesia coasting. Giddy, fine wine, fools, malt liquor. Wish me.